Big Quanchi here. I just want to make a little blurb talking about a new cartoon that just hit Netflix, The Cuphead Show. So this is based off the indie titled game Cuphead, which was a pretty big success. Like even the Cuphead character appeared as a Mii skin in Smash Bros. Ultimate. But yeah, it was a really great game. I think that the big thing about the game is the animation because it's very inspired by the cartoons from early Walt Disney to Fleischer Studios and all that. So it looks really great. Yeah, I just want to talk about it a little bit because it's not surprising that it got its own cartoon show. I know the game's development, I think, started in 2010 and came out in 2017, so 7 years. You can tell with the animation of the game and all that. So, yeah, it kind of made sense that a show would come out. And when I talk about, what I like about the show, and yeah, it's really great. The animation looks really good. One thing I really have to compliment is the voice acting, the direction, all that. Because looking to like the Wikipedia article and all that, the cast doesn't seem like a huge like A list or B list or whatever you want to call it. I don't pay attention too much when it comes to actors, but maybe a lot of small talents, for lack of a better word. But I feel like it very fits. Like it's very fun to see these characters have these personalities and voices to them. Everything seems right in terms of that direction. So I think in terms of like the voice and acting, probably one of the best translations from video game to cartoon. The animation does look really great. I would have to say, if you compare it to the video game, I feel like the video game is a lot superior. Although the game had a huge amount of time and a huge emphasis on the animation, because I felt like if there was that much effort put into the show, it would probably take even more years for it to even come out. But it makes sense in terms of how it presents itself, how it looks, and all that. And it looks like it's pretty well received. I think it's a very good testament and celebration of animation, especially kind of the throwback to the older style. And like I said, compared to the video games, I feel like the animation doesn't have as much to it. But there's some really good parts, like especially some of the episodes with the devil character and all that. Like you really see some really cool animation. It makes kind of sense if it's going to be more produced as a show where you have all these episodes and hours of footage and all that. Because the first season is 12 episodes and about 11 minutes each. They did confirm that two more seasons coming out. We're going to have at least 48 episodes, especially with season one being kind of a cliffhanger. So I'm not sure how soon we'll see new content, but it seems like it has a pretty good um, backing to it. So that's really good to hear. I think one of the criticisms I've seen and kind of have myself with that, it kind of feels a little repetitive with the story, kind of segmented in the sense that a lot of times it like takes place at the home, at the house, or it doesn't stray too far in terms of like sceneries and backgrounds and stuff like that. Although there's some pretty good episodes. Like one of my favorites is the Dangerous Mugman, because that has him like going off to the island of Arcana. So for in terms of scenery and animation, like mixing things up, seeing different backgrounds. But you see stuff like them going to carnival, going on like amusement parks, and even to like a cemetery. So there's a lot of like different backgrounds and all that. Sometimes there's a lot of background characters, a lot of cast is kind of bigger in one episodes, but then some episodes can be very small, like it's only the three characters. So sometimes I kind of wish it was just a little bit bigger. They kind of compared, kind of feels almost cliche to compare it to like a big show like SpongeBob SquarePants, but I feel like it does hold up pretty well. So I think it's very good, more or less a competitor, but it feels like it really fits in. Like I want to see more of this. I want to see more success with it, just like with SpongeBob and all that. Another criticism I have of the show is I feel like it's very tailored story wise, content wise to younger audience. It's rated Y7 for like kids 7 and up. And that makes sense. Like it looks cute, looks cartoony. But my kind of criticism with that is I felt like the video game that came out before it had a huge following with older audience. It could be kind of like the throwback to old cartoons, like old Disney, old Fleischer Studios. And also the game had been known for having a higher difficulty, so I think more older gamers had more tolerance or more drive to keep playing the games. I kind of felt like it had that really good older audience crowd following, but I feel like the show does not quite really tailor to that at all. I kind of wish it'd be like other cartoons. Like I think it's been a good while since I watched a lot of SpongeBob. But I feel like SpongeBob has like some of those jokes that kind of hit more adults than it does for kids. But I know like other cartoons like Rocko's Modern Life and Rugrats and all that. So I'm not saying that, hey, I want this show to tailor to me, to my taste, to my adult kind of sensibilities. But I kind of wish it would be a little bit more humor, like kind of like more general. But I feel like it's a really good kids show. But of course, there's like some, I guess you can say like intense moments for lack of a better word. But like the devil pursuing Cuphead, there's that cemetery one. So it's not just like all like little kid baby time, but it's really good like kids to watch it and unexpectedly like older audience can really appreciate it too. I think the story could be a little more to it because there's some episodes that are kind of like episodic and some kind of having an arc. Like I said, with the devil pursuing Cuphead, more to it. It sounds like they ended the first season a cliffhanger, so it kind of feels like there's gonna be more to it. Like some gonna focus on like kind of an overarching story, but not too dependent on it. I also have to say, like I said with the cast, I kind of wish there would be more to it. Like we see these characters more often, see more the variety of characters in each episode, versus kind of like going one way or the other. Like some can be episodes of very tightly like three or barely that characters, and some would be you see a lot of background characters and reactions and all that. So, like for example, in the opening theme, you see the character Miss Chalice, but you only get to see her in one episode in season one. So it's kind of like I wish it would use these characters a little bit more, give that good variety, changes the locations, because I feel like sometimes it get kind of stuck. Like I said, at the Cuphead home or whatever. But I do have to say, like some humor, some jokes, like again, it feels like it's very gentle, like kind of safe for a younger audience. One joke I kind of really like in like one of the first episodes is like I'm trying to return the souls. Like there's a pig eating a hot dog and all that. I think that's just kind of funny. Not to say that all hot dogs are pork products, but seeing a pig eating a hot dog. And as the soul's returning, the soul returns to the pig, and the soul returns to the hot dog and all that. So I thought that was kind of funny, but just kind of really appreciate the animation. Again, a little lacking from the game, but again, there's more time and effort in that. So it's kind of like, even though it's the same kind of property, it's kind of almost comparing apples with oranges. And I definitely like when it has some really bigger stuff with the devil and more animation. Like some episodes really stand out animation wise. But I hope it does really well. In I think that kind of sums up my plus and minuses. That I kind of wish it would tailor to more of an older audience in some way or another. It like doesn't have to be an adult show. Of course, it's for kids, and that's one thing I really like about the show is like I don't have kids myself, but I can imagine like when I'm watching my nephews or visiting family and stuff like that. Like I want my kids to watch shows like this. Like I want younger people to watch these kind of cartoons. I want these cartoons to be for kids, or something they can watch versus something like stupid or derivative or anything like that. So I really appreciate it. I like to see more of it. And yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's first season out on Netflix. Binge it. I actually still have to. I know the drop if they haven't already the newest DLC with Miss Chalice. So I definitely got to kind of jump back into the games after binging through the series. But very happy for the people who made it and glad to see the success because I know this game the original game took like 7 years. It was the first technical game from the studios and all that. So I'm really glad to see the success that it had. Like I said, it was in Smash Bros. A little bit, and I'm not sure of all the merchandising, but I'm just kind of glad like something that was really indie. A lot of people put the heart, blood, sweat, and tears, the whole passion. You can tell just with the original game how much passion went into it, how much work, and I'm really glad it's getting the success. 2 more seasons to come out, so we'll see what happens. And yeah, just go check it out. It may not be the best in terms of appealing for an older audience, but I hope it gets the general success. I hope secretly it becomes the next SpongeBob. Again, I like the personalities of the character, the voice acting, and hope more success to come from people who animated, wrote it, act, all that. It's a high recommendation for something that doesn't quite hit all my itches when it comes to cartoons as I kind of get a little bit more older, but definitely a great show to check out. So thanks for listening to me kind of blurb on. Again, best way to support me is like, comment, and subscribe. Check it out. Comment below what you think about the show, complaints, praises, since it definitely deserves a lot of praise. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.